for Foxy, it's your birthday, not for real, just for play. This is Cree Summer, and Moana Nui will be right back.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blerdkast. And on today's episode, we will be exploring the living history of my favorite con and probably your favorite convention as well, Dragon Con. And we're going to hear the history from those who was at the first couple of events itself. But before we begin, please, why don't you leave a like on this video and subscribe to Moana Nui and Blerdography. And before I forget, I would like to start by introducing my lovely co-host / mod for this evening, Miss Joy Stevens. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that, Mark. I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to this conversation because even though I may not have been at the first Dragon Con, I am in that age range. So I'm excited to talk with my fellow OGs about this. So looking forward to it. Buckle up, everybody. If you have any additional comments and you're watching live with us now, drop those comments in the chat and we'll be happy to add those questions to the conversation. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask everyone if they would just briefly introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Tony. Tony, please tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Tony Cade. I'm the owner of Challenges Games and Comics. I've been involved in Atlanta fandom since like the mid 80s, and I do a lot of things. So just hit me up. I do conventions, I do photography. That's how I got started in this whole thing. I started being a photographer for conventions. So, hey, if it's about production, creativity, or even retail, just hit me up.
Okay. We'll continue, I guess I say counterclockwise. Charles, tell us about yourself.
I'm known as Rock Podcasting, and I am the director of the digital media track for Dragon Con and part of the spokesperson team. And I've been able to be going for the last 10 or 11 years. And I'm excited to finally be invited to the best blurred barbecue on the net.
I love it. Yes. Okay. And last but not least, Marilyn, please introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Marilyn Teague. Longtime volunteer, attendee for Dragon Con and just about any other convention held in the Atlanta area since before most of y'all were born.
That's I would doubt that because I know when I was born, but yeah, I think there are going to be some people. The gray is real, but I know there's going to be some people out here that if I mention something to them, sometimes they're like, "Oh, that came out in like '97. I was born in 2001." I'm like, "Oh my god." Yeah. So, but we're here to educate you all. So, one of the other things we're going to do as we go having discussions, answering questions is give people a little bit more context, nuance, understanding around what Dragon Con used to be, what it is now, how it's grown, and what they should be thankful for that, some of the pioneers went through and put up with in order to make it as great as it is today. But with that being said, Mark, I'll turn it back. Do you want to start off?
Yeah. So, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I was born in the year of Dragon Con. Dragon Con's first year was 2 weeks after I was born. So I am just curious to know what was the very first convention like. I know some of you were volunteering, some of you were just there as attendees. So I just really want to know what was it like? Because I want to see the beginning to now.
That was 1987, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, damn, I'm old enough to be your daddy.
Well, can I go ahead and...
I just want to say real quick, thanks to Mark for being born. So now we have Dragon Con. Because if Mark wasn't born, I guess there wouldn't have been a con. So thank you, man.
Causality.
I'm sure
Marilyn,
it was going to be
say?
a thing whether I was around or not.
Yeah.
But I will take that. Take that claim.
Marilyn, you were going to say?
Oh, just basically, I am the OG of OGs, they tell me. because the first Dragon Con, I went there to volunteer because it was a gaming convention, and I was not a gamer. So I thought, I can do registration and let the other attendees enjoy themselves, and not have to worry about registration. I was the original on-site director. Back then, registration was filling out an index card, a three by five index card with your name, your contact information, phone numbers. I'm not sure if we had email back then, but I collected all the cards at the end and the money. And I don't think it was very. Somebody wanted to know how much was it. I think it was around $25 for the weekend. So it's grown a little bit more since that, right?
Definitely.
Definitely. Was it like a 2-day event or a 3-day event for the
It
first
was
year?
just 3 days. Mostly they waited until most people were getting off from work, so it didn't start until like about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. And there are people like well, what's his name? You don't want me to name who was in charge then, but there are some people who were in charge who are no longer involved with the convention. I shall not mention their names, but it went through some turmoil, I think, for a while.
So, first of all, I commend you for being altruistic in your first Dragon Con. Like you're like, I wasn't a gamer, so I figured I would do registration so everybody else could go and enjoy themselves. That's very selfless of you. So thank
That
you.
was very selfish of me.
What if you weren't a gamer, what made you want to even be a part of Dragon Con?
Well, anything related to science fiction and fantasy, because actually, the Atlanta Comics and Fantasy Fair preceded Dragon Con. You know that, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so I was heavily involved over there until internal conflicts. It was always something internal
It's
that
always a mess.
destroyed. Huh?
It's always some mess, right?
Always
It was really ugly too, really. But I was the chairperson of the Atlanta Comics and Fantasy Fair for a couple of years. But I was just a straw boss, they just put me there to say what do you call it, a distraction or deflection. I was in charge of the masquerade costume contest as it was back then. So, I just like science fiction and fantasy and horror. And Atlanta Comics and Fantasy Fair. Yes, it became just Atlanta Fantasy Fair after a while, but and then Dragon Con came along and Fantasy Fair died. Yeah.
What about you, Tony? Were you at the first one?
Oh no. Like I said, at the time and stuff, it didn't really grab my attention because back then, when it first started off, it was basically role playing and gaming and literary.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
even though I read some different books and everything, I wasn't like a big fan of a lot of the authors. And I was already involved with Fantasy Fair as a staff photographer. So for me, it was the media convention in town.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was the one you went to when you wanted to meet like the guests from your TV shows or the movies and stuff like that, along with literary guests.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about you, Charles?
In '87, I think I was 10 years old, so I didn't hear about it then. I think Mark's the only baby in the room, but I should have babysat him. So there's that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I did look up some numbers.
Okay.
Because we're curious about the cost. We cannot get like a confirmed cost on the first ticket because it just wasn't a thing back then. They keep track of that. But the first Eternal badge was offered in 1993 for $250.
I believe it.
Jesus.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a deal.
Yeah.
Because
It's
it's like
$250 you
$4,000
still could
now,
be
right?
going today.
If I knew then what I know now.
Right.
Right.
That's a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, $200 was a lot of money.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
paycheck.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because wasn't it the original gaming group that put it together? All
Dagger.
adventures for like $300 a piece.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
To start the whole show.
Yeah, I didn't get in on that. No.
Mm. Okay. Marilyn, you mentioned Wally, you said you were in charge of the masquerade ball, and off air we were talking about, were people cosplaying back then, and that was, as you mentioned, it wasn't really a word. And so, what was it like to see the masquerade ball, and what was that vibe when
Oh,
it first started?
it was really nice. I mean, we haven't mentioned the Chattacon convention held in Chattanooga. Now, I used to go to Chattacon before everything. The attendees there had the most elaborate costumes, and they were out of literary books. Mainly a lot of times they had people who were dressed as uh, Baroque costumes. Not too much in the uh, what do you call it? The sci-fi genre, but I mean, people did recreate um, certain costumes based on the artwork of in the literary books. So
Right.
whoever the artist was, they would draw something, and people would copy that. So
Like the
re-
cover art or any drawings inside the book, they would take that.
exactly, yeah. Recreation was a thing. It was actually a category, I believe. In the
Oh, really? So the masquerade ball was judged, like they had categories, and
shoot. What
we
did
can
I
still
do?
hear you.
Can you see me?
We can't see you, but we
No.
can hear you. There
Oh
you are.
Now we
You're
can
Lord.
back.
see you.
I'm sorry. I did something, and forgive my French. Pardon-moi.
Oh, it's
Um,
okay.
You actually
but
didn't say anything.
okay. But yeah, the recreation was the thing, and people spend a lot of money and time, and
Mhm.
they just did marvelous recreations.
That brings me to another question I want to ask around the number of years that you all have been attending Dragon Con. Where do you think you'd be in life if it weren't for conventions like Dragon Con? Like, what if cons didn't exist? What would life be like? Do you think?
Did
Mm,
did
mm,
did
Boring. Hmm.
I
did
kind of feel
boring.
that.
Yes.
Well, real quick and stuff, before you get off the thing of masquerade, real quick,
Hmm.
I just want to ask Marilyn a question.
Uh-oh.
Marilyn, whose idea was it for there to be a masquerade parade at Dragon Con that goes down Peachtree Street? Who came up with that idea?
I
I did.
second that question.
I did.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm guilty. Um, yeah, parade was laughed at when I proposed. Okay, Pat Henry was talking about in a staff meeting, a volunteer meeting. Um, Pat Henry was said he was late getting to our volunteer meeting because there was a parade outside. What do you call this? Salvation Army, and they were tying up the streets, and so it was hard for him to maneuver. And I said something like, "Well, we could have a parade," and the laughter was, boisterous. I mean, they laughed me out of the room basically. Uh, but since it was my idea, guess who had to organize it? Me. Okay. So I mean, Pat really didn't laugh at it. He wanted to know how would you do it, and so and I just said, well, we have so many different aspects of fandom. We have the literary group, we have the Star Trek group, we have the Star Wars group, and so we would have every segment would be a unit in the parade. And
Mhm.
I'm the one who said, well, let's have all the stormtroopers in the end. I thought because they were the biggest group, and it was astounding to watch all of those stormtroopers, and then other characters from Star Wars be a part of the end. So yeah, I mean, I can testify. I have witnesses who can say, what's his name? Gary Poole. If you know Gary Poole, ask him whose idea was it to start the Dragon Con parade. And of course, back then the masquerade was the most important event of the convention until we started doing the parade. So
Mhm.
you know, but right now, it's really big. Yeah, I was the director for I think about 4 or 5 years. It wasn't really organized at first. People
Hey,
thought,
Tanya.
huh?
Oh no, sorry. I just saw a message pop up from Tanya.
Oh, hey, oh, yeah. People would just think that they could just show up and jump in
Mm.
on parade morning. And we had to say, no, you really need to get registered in advance. So we had to devise a way to register people in advance. And then we come up to like, oh, all of a sudden we got 1,500 people. And
So,
I don't know how many there are now, maybe a couple
thousands. 'Cause I
thousand. Yeah.
having covered the parade just this past year, it went on forever, and there were like,
Yeah.
yeah, to your point, the Star Wars group was like half a mile,
Yes.
just walking.
The
But
501st. Yes.
so
So
I'm big on representation, bordering on reparations. So I'm wondering, have you ever been the grand marshal of the parade you created?
Hmm.
no, although they did say that they thought that on our anniversary, um, which is next year, I think it's 20 years or something like that.
Mm.
It was the parade director, Annie Carter, had suggested that I would be so honored, but we'll have to wait and see. I haven't had an email or anything from her, but it would be nice. So right now I joined I tried to join the Wakanda group for a couple years, and then I've been with the Captain America, uh, uh, the USO Dancing Girls unit, and they have been so nice to me. They just welcome me, They just say, "Oh yeah, come on." I mean, even though back in the 40s and I mean, most of the soldiers were like white. Yes, dare I say that?
Yeah.
The other word, Caucasian. So black representation in the 1940s really wasn't. But I'm. They let me and one other guy, black, be in the parade in that unit.
Mhm.
I mean, they never said no, you can't. And for a while there, they were calling me. But my character is Peggy Carter, Agent Peggy Carter,
Yeah.
and so they used to say, "Well, you're the sepia Peggy Carter." Do I
Mm.
really want to be sepia?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is that the word? SEPIA?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sepia, which
yeah.
sounds
Well,
like a euphemism for black in this
yeah, it is.
instance.
So that
Yeah.
didn't really go. They really not that really never caught on, But
Yeah, no.
yeah,
You can just be
but
Peggy Carter.
I,
And
I am just yeah, and I could be a Japanese. I could do anime, and I wouldn't be a sepia Sailor Moon, right?
right,
I would be
Right.
right.
just be Sailor Moon or whoever, So
Well,
uh,
we know this country has issues, which we will not be able to solve tonight. But I do think anybody that can hear us, if you're watching, let's start a grassroots campaign to make sure, since they mentioned it and it's already on the table, I would love to see you as Grand Marshal of the parade you started on the 40th anniversary. I think that's a thing
oh,
that we should start amongst our little group, whatever we can, start trying to make sure that they don't forget that discussion.
well, you can send emails to Dragon Con or to the parade director, Annie Carter. I mean, she mentioned it last year.
Mhm.
So I think it's on the back burner right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we will try to keep that alive for sure.
Okay.
We
Sure.
will make sure we start an email campaign tonight to get you as the Grand Marshal for the parade. For next.
Mhm.
Email. Okay. Sounds good.
Marilyn for Marshall. That'll be the
Yes, I love it. I love it. Marilyn from Marshall. And like, to be honest, you should be the Grand Marshal until you can't be the Grand Marshal anymore.
or
It's
don't
only
want to.
right.
Yeah.
It's only right.
Yeah. True.
Mhm.
Um.
And
It's
also, you
long
can ride in the
services.
car, so you ain't got to walk through the whole parade.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Yes.
yeah.
Say what? I didn't hear
No,
that.
also, you can ride in the car, so you don't have to walk through the whole parade. Just get in a
Well,
little convertible.
I haven't really walked in the parade since remember my husband Robert and I carried the banner a couple of years. I remember when I stopped being the director, and but after my amputation, I ain't walking nowhere. It's like
Understood. Understood. Okay.
I always have a scooter, so you know uh, I usually have a blue scooter that matches my costume. So there you go.
Nice.
Mm.
Okay.
Well, Marilyn, how many different things have you been director of?
Oh yes, glad you asked. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm not trying to hog this conversation,
No, this is great.
but actually, I was the first sign language interpreter that they had at Dragon Con. I was part of the group it was a disability awareness group called Electrical Eggs, and our the people in our group were people with disabilities who were attending conventions and finding how difficult it was, like to get in the dealer's room with the very narrow aisles, and the bathrooms are very hard for people with wheelchairs to get into. So we started a grassroots group asking the convention people to select hotels that were accessible for people who are with disabilities. And so, and I was actually for a while there, I was the director of disability services and the parade at the same time, because that was, Pat wanted, he said, okay, well, we need the disability services. But if you want to do the parade was more like a second thought for him, because it was going to be over anyway. It was going to be one and done, right? It was so, and after the parade was over, I would go back to my duties as disability services. Back then we called it handicap access. Um, but I was the director of both simultaneously. And of course I had my husband helping. So he was like co-director. But yeah, so between doing that, um, I think for a while I was going out to, oh yeah, I went out guest services. I went out to, back when I could drive a car, I drove out to the airport to pick up who played the part of Darth Vader? What's that guy's name?
James Earl Jones?
No, not the voice, but the body.
Oh.
Him. It'll come to me. But he was not a very nice person. I mean, the fact that a black woman was coming to pick him up from the airport, and he had this serious British Cockney accent, I mean, and I show up at the airport and I'm holding my little sign, Dave Prowse. Okay, there you go. I had to see the sign, but I went to pick up Dave Prowse from the airport to come to Dragon Con. That was in the very, very early days, So let's just say, not a pleasant event. The guy who played the guy who was the who created the Klingon language. Golly, I wish I had my reference materials here. I'm in the hospital, so I can't just look at my library, right? But the guy who created the Klingon language was also a guest, and I went out to pick him up at the airport, because I liked him and I liked the Klingon dictionary. So anyway, I've done a lot of stuff, I've run projectors, back when we had movie projectors where we would watch movies, in a movie room, So
So following all the amazing things that you've done, Marilyn, for Dragon Con and for nerd life in general, I want to, with all tea, all shade, opposed to the other two, what have y'all done?
Nothing. Not a thing.
Okay.
Man.
Now,
Oh.
considering I'm the one, who was there back in the day, I wanted Marilyn to get the attention that she is getting right now. So that's why I was pointing out all the things and stuff that I knew that she did back in the day. All right, like I said, somebody pointed out and stuff. She was the grand dame, for all of us back then. Like I said, I can remember and stuff where you could count the number of Black people at the Atlanta Fantasy Fair and Dragon Con on these little digits right here. All right, so we all, pretty much knew each other. Like I said, one of the people that's been commenting, Tanya Woods, has been, involved in fandom and stuff since she was like, young and in the conventions. Oh, yeah, Mark Oran with the linguist for the Klingon.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, I know who David Prowse is. I know who, Okran was. But as I say, hey, I'm getting up there too. So as soon as the names popped up, I'm like, wait a minute, I knew this person. And I could see the image, but I couldn't come up with the name. But no, all right, 4. Let's see. What have I done? Okay, well, I started off as a staff photographer, volunteer staff photographer for Fantasy Fair. All right. And for me, Dragon Con was at the time and stuff that up and coming upstart convention that was trying to be like Fantasy Fair. So I always thought of Dragon Con as like, the enemy, convention.
The rival.
Yeah. All right. Especially when they had one of the people working for him, and I have no problem saying his name, Ed Kramer. Okay. Ed Kramer.
Okay, you said it. I couldn't. Yeah.
Okay. Ed Kramer was one of those types of people and stuff. He would like call up to like media guests and would be like, "Oh, I'm calling from, the Atlanta, convention. I want to see about you being a guest."
Yeah.
Okay. And literally people would think that they were signing up to come to the Atlanta Fantasy Fair.
Oh no.
But he was actually getting them to sign up for Dragon Con.
Oh wow.
Okay. And then he started basically going out and poaching some of the top volunteers from Fantasy Fair. And I have to admit, I actually succumbed to this because at the time I was doing a community access TV show called Sci-Fi Atlanta, where I would go around to different conventions. Thank you. And for strangely enough, I don't even have any tapes left to show this. It's like I was doing the whole, before there were podcasts, I was doing community access TV.
Yeah.
All right. And so he basically recruited me to come on and do interviews at Dragon Con, along with doing a game show and along with doing photography. And like I said, I was a poor little kid, I was broke, and all it took was him like offering me, a hotel room for the weekend. And I was like, okay, I'm in. But before that, like I said, I was like all Fantasy Fair. I mean, I actually did the wedding photography for Lamar Waldron, who was the director of the Atlanta Fantasy Fair back in the day.
And Susan Barrows, yeah.
Yep, and Susan Barrows. I was the photographer for their wedding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've done a lot of things. I've done community access TV. I've been a moderator for panels. And, of course, it took forever for me to be a moderator for different panels. First, I started, doing one for the diversity track. And then, of course, I had to remind people, it's like, yeah, I am Black, but I do have other qualifications. How about letting me, do some other stuff? And so, like a couple of years ago, I was actually moderating panels for the comics panels. So, like I said, I've been involved, with Dragon Con and stuff behind the scenes. I've been a vendor at Dragon Con, until they started to move stuff over to the, what is it? The apparel, they're not that Paramart. What's it called?
America's Mart.
America's Mart, yeah.
Yeah, then I was just like, yeah, I'm getting a little bit too old and stuff to be like moving all this stuff down here to this show and setting up and breaking down. And, it's got too big. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Isn't that the reason you did a show? You actually went from doing shows to having a store because you got tired of lugging comic books around?
Yeah.
Like I said, I would set up and stuff and take comics to the Fantasy Fair, the Dragon Con, toys, all that stuff. And then after a while, I was just like, yeah, let me just open up a store.
They can come to you.
Just let people come to me. So that's a little bit of what I have done. And then, of course, my experience and stuff working the different conventions and helping other people with their stuff, like, Sci-Fi Summer Con I've helped out with. I've helped out with Track. I've helped out with, so many different cons that, actually hanging around a lot of the directors of those, I was like, well, hey, let me do my own thing. And, that's what I do now. So, yes, that's what I have done.
Well, look, it's not always about what you've done. It's about what you will do. And what I will do is hold Marilyn's umbrella and a fan. I'll fetch her the water, whatever she needs. I got you. Because both of you, Tony and Marilyn, y'all done a lot to really push forward nerddom and awesomeness. And
Marilyn inspired me to actually take sign language classes.
Oh.
Yeah, of course I gave up on it.
Oh.
But she's the one that got me to do it.
Well, come to the Atlanta Area School for the Deaf this weekend, Saturday.
So much stuff. Yeah.
Wait, you said the Atlanta School for the Deaf on the weekends teaches
we're
sign
having
language?
our fall festival. I say we because I used to be a teacher out there. So, games, toys, handicrafts, you name it. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I will be there. I'll have a booth out there. Ain't that something?
That is actually really awesome.
Forgive my rudeness, but aren't you in the hospital right now?
Huh?
Are you? And you're going to be at the booth this weekend?
I'm going to get a day pass if I have to, but I do this once a year. This is my life, and I will crawl out that door. They were going to have to send the police to find me, but I will be there at the Atlanta Area School for the Deaf. On what is that? It's in Clarkston, so I will be there. Yeah, I think they're gonna let me. I think they're gonna discharge me by Thursday. So
that's plenty of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So.
So doesn't Marilyn make everybody out there in the audience feel like a slacker?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here struggling to fold my laundry, and she's like, "I'm going to crawl out of this hospital."
I will. You think I'm kidding, but I am going. I will. I'm strapping on this artificial foot, leg, and I'm going out the door. No,
I love it.
I will tell them, come and get me. I wonder what they do if I leave. What they gonna do?
No, Marilyn,
I'm an escape patient, not mental patient, but I'm an escape patient. So, yeah.
Is it fair to say that we can dub you the Queen of DragonCon for all your contributions and everything that you have done to contribute to our favorite convention?
I wouldn't go that far, really.
What about the Mother of DragonCon?
Mother DragonCon. Yes, I can do that. Yes. I actually do have a T-shirt that does say Con Mom. I got it at Chattacon, as a matter of fact. So, yep, I could wear that. But no, I have to wear my my company's T-shirt out there, LATN. But I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll take pictures and I'll show.
So this has become the new campaign, Marilyn, the Mother of DragonCon, for Marshall, all the M's. Yeah. Marilyn for Marshall, Marilyn, the Mother of DragonCon.
I love that alliteration. I love it. I just have an image in my head of her being Daenerys Targaryen and coming in the parade and just screaming, "Where are my DragonCon attendees?" And I just love it. I would love to see that.
That's so
Joy,
funny.
you had mentioned earlier that you were commentating in the parade, and we actually have a little video footage of that. If our lovely behind-the-scenes engineer could pull that up, we have a little clip. Why did I say lovely?
Because you're nice like that.
I am not nice.
Fine men. And I'll keep doing it every time they show up.
In theory, it's wrong.
Right.
We should not objectify anybody.
Well, I'm objectifying.
However, it's DragonCon.
Oh, there's more. Those are the women. Women. Oh,
these are women superheroes, I think, coming up.
Ah.
This is the end of 300. Walking slow here.
Oh, maybe she got hurt or something. Well, good thing they didn't throw her over.
I don't know why he got left behind.
right? I guess no man left behind. Not
Right.
in 300. Don't be
He's
last.
also not showing his ass.
That's the not in shape.
No, they don't have those.
He's in training.
Oh, it's a funeral. Aw.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Woo!
One time for female heroes.
Women rock! What did they say?
I have no fear.
Oh, love it.
And here we got Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth coming through.
The periodic table.
Science!
Look at how big the parade is now.
Yeah, we love it. Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, could you please come to Dragon Con?
Right.
That'd be amazing. We would love to have you.
That would be amazing.
Look at Tin Man is actually 10. I love it.
Oh my God.
You are made of
California.
Love it.
I'm from California, so absolutely. My God.
So yes, that will be coming out sooner or later on this week. The commutation between Joy and Angie, probably one of the best parts of this year's Dragon Con. And I say that because no shade to Dragon Con TV and their commentators, but their commentators could use a little seasoning.
Yeah, it was a little bit dry. I thought we had a lot more fun. A lot more risque, but a lot more fun than the basic commentary that was basically just announcing what was coming next, you know?
Right.
I think it's canon that when you're at Dragon Con, it's not objectifying, it's appreciating the art.
I was appreciating all the art that the 300 guys and the hard work they put in. Because
they did, right?
Yeah, I mean, though none of them were airbrushed. It was glorious. I think they're probably a bunch of personal trainers and bodybuilders anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, hey, repurpose it. You know?
Yeah. And Mark thinks you're lovely as well.
Yes. And so, Mark, did you have any questions you wanted to ask?
No. Well, actually, I did see a question in the chat from Being Awesome Together. It's for Marilyn, but I want to bring it to everybody. But what do you all think is the reason that gave Dragon Con so much longevity? Because it's something that everybody looks forward to. When you think of conventions in North America, you think San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con, and Dragon Con is in that conversation too. So what do you all think is the success and driving force behind Dragon Con?
Well, one of the things that I think of is with Dragon Con, no matter how big it is, it's still a fan con. It's a con for fans. You know, it might be, you know, incorporated and stuff like that, nonprofit, all that stuff, but it is still a fan show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that I think makes it special. Plus the parties. Plus, you know, it's like I've been going to Dragon Con parties going way back. And whatever you're into, whatever kind of debauchery you're into, it's going on at Dragon Con. Okay. So it's, you know, it's got a bunch of really good activities during the day, but it's got some really awesome activities going on at night.
It does. That's
Room
true.
parties, yeah.
And it gives you the chance and stuff to meet your favorite guest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how you never got a chance to meet them before. I mean, you run into guests in the elevators, you run into guests at the bars, you know, you can run into guests, you know, in the hallway, get pulled into a room. You never know what'll happen at Dragon Con.
That's true. What's his name?
Joy, I want to hear what you got.
So I have a cynical and inspirational. We're gonna get the cynical out of the way first. Listening to what you said earlier, Tony, about people poaching from Atlanta Fantasy Fair, I would have to wonder if Dragon Con became as big as it did because they poached a lot of entertainment stars, top talent volunteers to get it up and running early on, and that has been self-sustaining since. It's my cynical look. But then my inspirational look is of the cons that I know of and go to, Atlanta itself is a cool city, but this con is more come as you are than any other that I know of, where, you know, sometimes it's like, well, this is Comic-Con, we only doing this, you know, or some of the other cons, you know, it's only anime or it's only sci-fi. This one is, look, you can be into Seinfeld and there'll be a Seinfeld photo shoot.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as there's a fandom. Going back to what Tony said about loving this being run by fans. And we went from poaching good volunteers from Atlanta Fantasy Fair to having an endless supply of people that would love to volunteer just for the chance to get in free on Thursday and Friday, Saturday. Me being one of them. Yeah.
Why is there a cult of the FedEx guy? I wish somebody would explain to me what they call the cult of, huh?
It's so
It's called the Cult of John.
Yeah, the cult of John. I mean, seriously? I mean, I don't get that one, But
I
you're
was
right.
there for that one.
I was there. I don't know.
Go ahead, Mark.
All right, so one year at Dragon Con, I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 2019. Maybe 2018. But I guess FedEx was in one of the hotels, and they had a cutout of one of their employees that was in the Marriott, which is the wrong place to put anything, in the skywalk, the sky bridge, and it was there Wednesday, Thursday, and like by Friday it disappeared. Someone like basically murdered it. And then it reappeared with like some googly eyes and some notes and stuff, and it just became a cult following the following year. And then it just spiraled into its own thing since then. Cults, there have been many occults before, and there will be many occults after, but the Cult of John is going to be one of those that stays forever. Like the Cult of the Marriott carpet, like that.
I love that. Yes.
Tony's wearing it right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, both of those are no real restrictions, a whole bunch of laissez-faire. Let them do whatever they're doing. The FedEx guy, the cutout went missing and showed back up with googly eyes on and something else. And then people added like a candle, and then there was like a little shrine. And
it became a shrine.
Yeah, and then once people started doing it, it got bigger and bigger. And then of course, the powers that be were like, get all this out of here. Somebody, the sacred remnant, and in typical Dragon Con nerd fashion, they're like, "Yeah, we're putting it back." And now the googly eyes are everywhere. Like I saw googly eyes on the tigers out in front of the hotel. Googly eyes. There's some googly eyes on the martyr sign headed into Dragon Con. Yeah, and that's all the Cult of John. They had a new cult this year. Because of the movie K-pop Demon Hunters, it was the Cult of Genu, which was the singer who kind of sacrificed himself at the end of the movie, blah, blah, blah. And so the people were leaving little Saja boys and Demon Hunter stuff out in the same next
bottles of soju.
Yes.
There. Yes.
Because it's Korean or K-pop. So soju was appropriate. Yeah. Put that comment up again about the carpet. The Marriott carpet was almost unnoticed the first year. I'm not surprised because it was probably real carpet before it became a pattern that you could buy. People just stole because the Marriott just pulled it up and was dumping it, and people were like, hey, we can do something with this. And the next thing you know, I mean, this year in the parade, to bring it all the way full circle, there were at least 20 or 30 Marriott carpet dinosaurs that marched in the parade this year.
I actually purchased a strip of the for $5. I have a strip of the original Marriott carpet. So
of course you do. Of course you do.
You should. Yeah,
it's only fair.
It's only fair. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm
one of my
proud of
favorite things with the carpet was the guys and stuff that did the fatigues and the Marriott carpet designs and laid out on the carpet, and they matched in so well.
They did, yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Blended right in, yeah.
At my photo shoots this year, at every single photo shoot where I was the lead photographer, there was at least one cosplayer that was either fully drenched in Marriott carpet cosplay. Like my favorite was the Marriott carpet Red Ranger in my Power Ranger shoot, or they'll have like accents of it in their cosplay. Like I had several people in my Avatar cosplay shoot that had like fans or different things that was from the Avatar universe, but in the Marriott carpet. So that's one of my favorite things that I have personally witnessed in my lifetime that made me a fan of Dragon Con was the birth of the Cult of John and the birth of the Cult of the Marriott carpet. So I will be starting a cult next year. I don't know how, but I will be doing that.
Keep us informed, Yeah.
Mark, It's the cult of Teague. Come on.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm here for this. Yes.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
called the cult of
I mean,
Teague.
I've learned so much about you and DragonCon tonight. How's it not a cult already?
That's
Right?
true.
And we could be like, which are the ones that like the Mormons that come knock on your door? Excuse me, have you heard about Marilyn Teague?
Yes.
And
You
pass
kinda
out
need
information.
to.
I'm here for this. I'm here for
Yes.
this. We pass out information about all the things that Marilyn has done.
Well,
Right?
you guys already
Leave
know
it as
that
like
I'm
merch to find on
you
tables.
know, a prophet of Teague. You know,
Yeah.
I've been preaching about the Teague.
You are.
You have.
are
You 100% have.
upon this rock, she will build her church. Yes.
Wait, am I going to get T-shirts for this? You know, we need
Absolutely.
merchandise.
Yes, yes. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
merch.
They'll be available on my
Send us a
channel
good
shop.
picture.
Okay.
Mm.
We will have shirts made. Look, don't look. We're not playing. We will have shirts made, and there'll be a little halo on you, kind of like the whole like with a little Jesus picture, and be the cult of Teed, Marilyn, mother of Khan. Yes.
And Mark,
You
if you
know?
send me the artwork, I'll make a jersey for it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I'm gonna talk to you about the jersey thing anyway, because I got some ideas for some other stuff, but I got you.
Sure.
So it's safe to say, Marilyn, you on the Mount Rushmore of Dragon Con. It's you next to Stan Lee. And we gotta figure out who the other two people are.
Yeah.
But right now, Dragon Con, it solely owes you a debt of gratitude. It sounds like.
Wow. Well, thank you. I mean, you know, it's nice to be, you know, realized or appreciated before you die, you know.
Yeah. Give you your flowers now.
Bring that last comment back up. I saw Black Geeks of Dragon Con. I did want to bring something up about that. This year was the 10th anniversary of the Black Geeks of Dragon Con, and one of the founders himself, David Samoa, is solely responsible for this very episode by literally pulling me aside and saying, hey, you should do an OGs of Dragon Con episode and have this person on it. So shout out to Black Geeks of Dragon Con for just, again, making this wonderful living history lesson a thing, because it was not even on my radar, and I'm happy I did it. I've learned so much about Dragon Con, and the person who I owe all these things to finally have a face and a name and somebody who I can go to and say, like, she's the reason why I do Dragon Con. So thank you, Marilyn. Thank you so much.
We all owe you a debt of gratitude.
Yeah.
Everybody. The last 19 years of my life with Dragon Con have been some of the amazing experiences in my entire life. And it's all because of you. Like, I contemplate walking in the parade every year. I end up doing it in some way, but like, that's always the biggest thing. Like, am I going to be able to be sober enough Friday night to do the parade Saturday morning and just witness all of its glory, from the staging area to actually walking in the parade? This year I got the experience being on the sidelines as press. The parade is like literally the crown jewel of Dragon Con, next to the aquarium event and some of the photo shoots. But like, you did your thing with that one.
Yeah, you know what? You make a really good point, Mark, because when I talk to people who are, you know, not necessarily in the life, if you will, they know about the parade, and they'll say, you know, when I say I'm going to Dragon Con, oh, are you going to be in the parade? You know, that's all, like, people, it's so much bigger than the con itself. It's what people who aren't even registered to be at the convention will come downtown to watch all the nerds go by. They're like, this is so cool. And it's very welcoming, again, of all shapes, sizes, and body types, etc. So yeah, the parade is probably the most visible and iconic thing about Dragon Con.
Well attended too.
Well,
I mean,
if I do remember or not, isn't the Dragon Con parade the largest parade in Atlanta?
Oh no, I don't think so. We had last weekend. We had the Little 5 Points Halloween Festival. That was a pretty big parade. So
I gotta tell you, the Pride Parade gonna get you every time. Like, that's a lot of people.
You're right. Yeah, 2 weeks. I missed the Pride Parade. I forgot. I didn't know about it, and I forgot to put it on my calendar. So yeah, the Pride Parade. You're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Dragon Con parade may not be the biggest parade in Atlanta, but it's definitely the most iconic parade in Atlanta. I remember even in the 90s when I was in elementary and middle school, seeing every weekend, Labor Day weekend, the news talk about the Dragon Con parade. seeing people in costume, then now cosplay. I remember when Stan Lee was the first Grand Marshal of the parade, and seeing
Yep.
him in person doing it. The parade itself, Dragon Con itself, is just so iconic to Atlanta. And one of the next questions I wanted to bring up is 40 years of Dragon Con, how much money do you think estimate that this convention has made to the city, made for the city of Atlanta?
Now, I know
generates
the
quite
actual
a
rough
lot,
numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, give him Charles.
Now, I want to
choose
hear your guesses. What do y'all think? Over the entirety of the 40 years, what do you think?
40 years, just Dragon Con alone, not including college football, not including any of the other
just Dragon
events.
Con.
We're talking gross profits for the city?
Basically, yeah. What the economic impact is.
Oh, somebody
1.5 billion. That's my final answer.
I was gonna say like half a billion, like 400, maybe 400 million, maybe 10 million a year.
So you're saying about 400 million. T-Dub says 1.5 billion. What do you think, Tony?
I'm gonna just piggyback off of that 1.5 billion.
Marilyn, what do you think?
I don't know if it's quite that much. I mean, we have other parades. I mean, there's oh well, actually we don't. A lot of our parades have dropped
Please
off.
call it Dragon Con. It's the number you're looking for. How much money has Dragon Con brought to the city of Atlanta?
In 1 year?
No,
in this entirety.
This year's, I would really think something about 450,000 this year. So if it could be that much every year, I would think 450,000 because I mean that's food, that's hotel. We're talking food, hotels, car rentals,
taxes,
restaurants. Yeah, right. So
other things, transportation, Marta. Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, right. Yeah. So
Airbnb.
Give us a number, Charles.
Low.
All right. Well, the overall rough number estimate, the actual number for economic impact last year for 2024, 80 million is what it brought into the city.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just 2024. So the overall 40-year estimate is about $1.15 billion. That's what they brought into the con since the beginning. Yeah.
Who said the nerd community don't have money lied to you?
There's your adult money, Mark.
Yes.
Yeah.
When people save money, they save and save, so that they will have money to spend. It's airplane, air flights, right? I mean, transportation,
everything.
It adds up.
Food.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, you got to get Tanya a no prize.
All right, your prize is my presents. I hope you enjoy it. No, I'm kidding. I'll get you something. I'll get you something, Tanya. She's gonna hit me next time I see her.
Well, actually,
get a bodyguard.
You need to do another show, especially since Joe Campbell wasn't able to make this one. You need to get like Tanya and Joe Campbell and a couple of others and stuff and do another show.
I'm always down.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can't cover in an hour. It's like,
Tanya makes it good.
It's like there's stories about things that happen in the green rooms.
So we'll do an after dark for the next session of Oh Jesus Dragon Con. We talk about things that go on, after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, Dragon Con After Dark gotta be an episode by itself.
But you made a good point in that we were all nerds in school. Nerds grew up to be engineers, computer programmers, making good money, and then bring that money to Dragon Con.
Do you remember way back? One of the things, huh?
I was just laughing at what Tanya posted about we didn't sign NDAs. So it was like, we got a lot of dirt we can spill.
Remember, part of you were talking about parties after hours, after dark. One of the things that, other conventions would host room parties to advertise and publicize their convention, get people to go ahead and buy a pre-membership, even maybe sign up to volunteer. That's how I signed up for Chattacon several times. There was another convention in Atlanta. We used to have a convention in Atlanta called ASFO Con. Does anybody remember the Atlanta Science Fiction Organization?
Yeah, I remember
ASFO.
that.
Right. So they had but it was a small, more of a literary convention, but they still would have room parties at Dragon Con and try to, it was publicity, marketing, you know. And I used to love going to room parties. I'd go from one room party to the next. They would advertise them on with signs in the elevators, so you couldn't miss it. But room parties were the thing way back in the day.
Still are.
Still
Still
definitely
are.
still are.
You
100%.
go into one room and like, oh no, they got the whips and chains in that one now. I'm not into that. Go to the other room and stuff, and everybody's dressed up as fairies. And then you go to another one. Oh, this is the furry party.
That's right.
It's
Yes.
Like, oh, here's a track party. This sounds safe. I go to the track party. Yeah.
Yes. Are you saying fairy or furry?
Both.
Both.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Since you brought up the parties, I did want to mention something. So again, Dragon Con After Dark is a whole thing, and yes, the parties are one of the main features of Dragon Con. However, in recent years, it has been more of a get there early, or you're going to be waiting in line, and then the line becomes the party type of thing. So.
Yes.
There's the last party of Odoron party. There's the Spectrum party. There's the Bunny Hutch. Oh my God!
The Bunny Hutch. Yes. Yeah.
The line is wrapped around 2 buildings sometimes.
Yes.
Hey, just even going to the line, getting your badge is a party while you're waiting in line.
Yes.
They did a terrible job this year at that one, but that's neither here nor there. But yes, Dragon Con is a party con for both official and unofficial partying. And unofficial party.
And what makes it different from the other conventions? Because I've been to New York Comic Con, I've been to San Diego Comic Con, and they held at convention centers. And, there might be like a hotel next to them, but the fact that you got that cluster of hotels all together, is one of the things and stuff that makes Dragon Con so special. Because you have all the people together and they don't have to travel out. They can buy what they need to buy, go to their room, drop it off, and jump right back into the scurry.
And Dragon Con realizes that, and they stay in the hotel specifically for that reason, and because convention centers close. They shut down at midnight, and Dragon Con doesn't want that to happen. So that's why we live in the hotels.
Yeah. That's true.
So if you haven't gone to Dragon Con, why not? Why not? If you're watching this and you heard of Dragon Con and you need a reason to go, we've just gave you so many different reasons.
And even though there isn't, go ahead.
Just plan it as a vacation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a great example. San Diego and New York Comic Con feel like trade shows, and C2E2 has the same corporate event feel. And yeah, Dragon Con is very much a family reunion.
Yes, it is.
Cookout. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can say it's okay for white people too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's a great Blerdcon. It really is. But it's okay for white people. Have fun.
There's a preponderance of white folks there too. Yes, all are welcome. It's inclusive of everyone.
I can vouch for that.
Like I said,
all the time.
I remember when there were like 10 black folks at Dragon Con and we all knew each other.
That many? I don't think we had that many.
I think we're just getting to the point in the last couple of years where we don't all know each other. And then we meet each other. So yeah, we all still know each other.
Yeah, there was this one guy, didn't even really want to talk to anybody. He came in, he was a nerd within himself, he came in, he was holding on to a satchel. I think all his comic book collections were in this satchel. And I tried waving to him. I said, hey, but he never said anything to me. I don't know his name, never got to know him. I was kind of disappointed. But yeah, Tony, I remember you being a little kid. I got really,
Tony, you were a kid?
Actually, I was an adult. I just have always looked young, okay?
You're a baby.
Matter of fact,
You're a child.
Lady who was hanging out with Marilyn
Tony was a
from South
baby. Tony
America.
was a
And I remember like
baby.
asking her out, and she was basically like, "You're too young." I was
Yeah.
like, "What?"
And I would have to say, "Oh no, he's my son," you know. And
Oh. I love it. Speaking of son, did any of you ever bring your family to Dragon Con?
of course, yes,
Marilyn and her family are famous at Dragon Con.
yeah,
Love it.
yeah. While they were still alive, yes. I mean, we went everywhere together. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, the family that cons together stays together or something like that. You know, I mean, I could not imagine. We would go to movie premieres. I never will forget. We who were on the volunteer group with the Comics and Fantasy Fair, when we got passes to go see the original Star Wars. I mean, it was amazing. You know, my son was maybe only about 3 or 4 years old, um, and he loved it. You know, I mean, we were honored, first of all, that they would invite us to be in the preview audience for Star Wars. And yeah, you know, you doing things with family, you know, family ties. That's a movie, right? TV show.
Wait, what is this about the wedding at a con?
My wedding? Yeah.
You got
Star Trek
married at
wedding?
Dragon Con?
I had a Star Trek wedding at the no, not Dragon Con. It was actually at another convention, Deep South. Deep South.
Con.
Deep
But
South.
you got married in Star Trek gear at a
Yes.
con. That is
Yes.
freaking awesome.
I still wear that dress. I'm glad to know I can still wear my wedding dress, and I do wear it to, you know. Well, I could wear it for Halloween, you know, really, but I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, that you know, and that's you. We talking about Lamar and Susan Barrows. They were the ones who arranged to get the minister to officiate at our wedding. You know, it was really nice. You know, I mean, for this minister, she was a non-denominational, but it didn't bother her that we would put. They put Susan put Vulcan ears on her, you know, and dressed her up, and she came out and she said, "Dief Dorf Eve Mosca," which is supposed to be live long and prosper in Vulcan, not Klingonese, but and the audience went wild. You know, they just thought, oh, that was great. So
That is awesome. That's a one of a kind.
I am so geeky. I mean, is that that's not nerdy? Is that
wedding.
geeky? Huh?
No, somebody said they've got pictures of the wedding.
I do too.
If you have
Yep.
pictures of the wedding, send them to me so we can put them up on screen. Like right now, if you got pictures.
I don't have
Email
access. Well, I mean, I could, but I'd have to hang up and go. You know,
No, I'm talking to no. I'm talking to the
people that
person
say
in
they
the
have
comments.
pictures. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're
Yeah,
gonna get them
later
to do it.
afterwards, I'll send you pictures. Yes. Yeah.
But
I even had a sign language interpreter at my wedding. You know, so I was very accessible because my maid of honor was deaf, so I had to have that goes without saying. You know, so I try to include people who are deaf and people with disabilities in anything and everything I'm involved with. So yeah, that was fun.
The email is blerdography@gmail.com.
Got it. That's easy.
Okay.
I'll send you the pictures.
So I'm gonna ask you all a really hard question.
Uh-oh.
What has been one of your favorite memories of Dragon Con? Just one.
I can't share that.
That's the hard part. Just one.
That is actually a very hard question. Yes.
Mine is actually kind of easy because it actually relates to this show and panel. Is I think it was the second or third year as director of Digital Media Track, and I was we just named it Digital Media Track from Podcasting Track, and opened up so many doors for people to go, oh, I want to submit something and do something different because I do YouTube or whatever. And that was the first time I had been involved in that track, that somebody had submitted a blurred panel, and we did it. and we had awesome people on the panel, and they took care of everything. And BET showed up, and
Wow.
they stood in the back of the room, and they took footage for clips, and they interviewed the people on the panel. And I was like, it was just cool to go. I got to see that happen,
Yeah.
and it got to happen at Dragon Con, and it was just this confluence of all different things in my life that had come together from childhood, and it was really cool to see that happen.
That's cool. Yeah.
I think we kind of skipped over it a little bit, but Charles, how did you get started with being the director of the digital media track, or what was your first Dragon Con?
My first Dragon Con, 2013, I think 2014. I came because I'd always heard about it, and I got a different convention to pay for me to go because it was a new media expo out in Vegas, and they were trying to change their thing up. And I said, well, there's this cool thing called Dragon Con. If you buy me tickets, I'll go check it out and report on it. And I became the director because I always like to help, and I always like to put in where I can. And I was doing all kind of live production and things, and I saw a need for connection. Like at the time, no shade to what was going on, but it was all a certain group of people on podcasting track. And I saw that kind of throughout the con, but podcasting was my thing. So I focused there. And I said, well, how do we open up the door? Because you don't know me. I didn't know that could be a part of your track. How do we invent something that makes that connection? And nobody knew, but I was determined to figure it out. And through a bunch of different things, we finally were patient enough for Discord to come around. But because of ideas like that, and I just kept saying, yeah, I'll help. Brian Dunaway was director when I came in, and he was basically a placeholder. Is what he says. I mean, he was like, I didn't want the track to go away, so I was holding on to it until somebody else came along. And like everything else in my life, I talk a lot. So when somebody said put up or shut up, I was like, well, Daddy doesn't shut up. So let's see what can happen. And I haven't regretted it. I thought I might regret it, but I have not regretted it. It's been great. And so it just. We celebrated the 20th year of podcasting track / digital media this past year in 2025. And I guess I've been there for 10 years now. And to see how it's grown from what everybody always wanted what it is now. They just didn't know how to get there. And that's just my kind of magic. And of going, hey, I see the invisible road. Let's go. And I want to do more. And there's stuff we can't talk about here, but I've talked to Mark about that. I want to do more.
Yes. So let's talk about that.
I can't talk about that here.
Okay, you're right. We can't talk about that here. But that does bring up an interesting question I want to ask everyone. The future of Dragon Con. We are entering 40 years of Dragon Con, and hopefully there'll be another 40 years. Dragon Con, you can do a lot, you can see a lot. Dragon Con has done a lot, but what would any of you want to see in a future Dragon Con convention?
More Marilyn.
But we're going to make sure that happens.
I'll pass. Let me come back to me and let me think about that one.
Well, actually, I was going to bring up and stuff with the last subject you guys brought up about some like your favorite memories. All right, my favorite memory and stuff is always, well, back when they had them connected, is that I would always go to the performances of the Atlanta Radio Theater.
Oh, good.
All right, because their performances were always right before the masquerade.
Right.
So I always made sure that I got in to see their performances, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but it also made sure that I had like a great seat for the masquerade.
Right.
So that was like, one of my favorite things. And then the other favorite thing is when I was doing the sci-fi Atlanta TV show, is that, I got to sit there and we interviewed Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah.
Star Trek. Jonathan Harris from Lost in Space.
Yeah.
He was a character. I got to, interview the guys that created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got to interview Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
There's so many people and stuff, Eastman and Laird, that I got to meet and have a personal connection with.
Yes.
And those things are like, really fond to me, because I never have been one of the people who would like want to go and get somebody's autograph and pay them all that money for it. It's like, you want $75 to do what? No, I've always been kind of broke. So, that was never like something I could get into. but having a chance to actually like meet guests, you know, it's like I've had like one conversation with George Takei,
Yeah.
and it was
Wow.
in the bathroom in the stall next to me, and
Oh
we're sitting there,
no.
and you know, I look over, and he's
Wow,
out there,
Sway.
and we have a conversation, you know, or
How did you know it was him?
what? No, it was in the
urinals.
He means
Okay.
the urinals.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. But like I said, at Dragon Con, you don't know who you're gonna meet, when, and where.
Right.
So those are my favorite times.
I'm gonna speak a little selfishly because I'm now currently heavily involved in the diversity track, and shout out to Jarvis
Yay.
Sheffield. And but I'm a big fan of K-pop, K-dramas, and a lot of Korean stuff. And the Silk Road track, everything I want to see is at the same time something really cool is happening on the diversity track, and I'm
Ain't that
mad like
something?
I can't be in two places at once. So I'm actually going to submit a panel that I want to lead, and it's going to the plan is to call it Soul to Soul, and I want to combine
I get it.
Creative.
and
That's
the
huge.
diversity track, because there's a lot of crossover between the history of specifically Korea and African American history.
Mhm.
You know, everything from fried chicken to Teddy Riley and New Jack Swing and K-pop. So I want to explore all of that, and that way I can be in two places at one time. So that's what I want. So y'all
That's
root
awesome.
for me to get this panel approved.
Sure.
Well,
Have
see,
you
if
heard
you
of
get
the
it approved, I
local
want to be on it.
Sure.
for that same panel? Have you heard of the local artist, comic artist Hotep?
Yes.
Yes.
I went to Kotep and I went to college together. He was in Morehouse when I was
okay.
a student. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on my show Wise and Nerdy a few times. He's amazing. I think he would fit right in that genre for you.
That is you know what? I hadn't thought of it. Yes, I'm going to reach out to him for sure.
Yeah, Hotep has actually done signings and viewings of his anime here at the store.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Small world.
That's where I
That's so cool.
reconnected with him, was at Atlanta Sci-Fi Expo this year, because I rolled up on him like, why do you look so familiar to me? And he was like, Joy. I was like, not his whole name. Hotep. Yeah, I had to remind him that all the girls in my freshman class had a crush on him when we were in college. So
I can see it. He's a charismatic dude.
He is, and I love what he's doing. So,
Well, since you brought it up and stuff, I just want to remind everybody that the Atlanta Sci-Fi Fantasy Expo is coming up March 14th and 15th, 2026.
get your tickets now.
You ain't got to get no tickets. That's the great thing about it. It's free to the public.
Show up in March.
Yeah. Show up.
So, Mark, anything that you wanted to cover that we haven't covered yet?
No, I mean, obviously it's Dragon Con. We can talk about Dragon Con for hours and hours on end. Already I have so many new ideas for episodes that we're definitely going to do just around Dragon Con itself. But I think for today we have gone through a lot. Marilyn, again, thank you so much for everything that you have done for Dragon Con and all your contributions. I didn't even know. I had an idea of some of the things you did, but I had no clue you did like everything that you have done. Because I work with a diversity track now, and you're very work heavily with the LGBT community, with the accessibility of Dragon Con. I remember that being a big issue for that track one year. It's all because of you. Like, it's all because of you, and it is so wonderful, like to just see it in action and to just talk to you and hear those stories from you. So I definitely want to personally just invite you back on the show, and I just want to shut up and just let you talk.
Right. Just the whole feature
about Marilyn.
Huh?
I was telling Mark you should really thank the person that told him about you.
Yes, Tony Cade. Also, you have been the biggest supporter of Blerdography, one of the biggest supporters. Tony was the one who initially told me about you. And I did try to reach out to try to do something special for the parade, but we can do that next year, especially
Oh
since
yeah.
you're going to be there as the Grand Marshal. We're going to make sure you are
Okay.
there. The mother of Dragon Con
Mhm.
needs to be there.
Yeah, they may think that's a little bit much, but
No, it's appropriate.
okay.
Hmm.
Well, I will wear my crown in and with grace and dignity.
Yes.
Quiet dignity and grace, yes. Sorry, I
Watch
was
out. We'll
watching
make you a
Young
costume.
Frankenstein last week.
Don't be surprised if we show up with like, okay, put this on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I will be here at the hospital the rest of the week. If anybody wants to come by and visit, So,
Where are you?
Emory Midtown.
Okay.
This where the parade starts, right?
I love it. I love the
That
tie-in.
is that is the funniest thing. Yeah, the parade starts like down the street, in the front of 550 Peachtree Street. So
Mhm.
yeah, isn't that hysterical? Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's a sign. You should take it as a wonderful
Mhm.
sign that the city of Atlanta loves you. And we want to make sure you know that.
I
The
love
city
it
of Atlanta
back.
loves
I
you.
mean, an Atlanta native. I can't think about living anywhere else.
Mhm. I get that.
Except for Tokyo and Godzilla Land, but that's about it. Yes. I am such a Godzilla fan you would not believe. I like Godzilla more than I like Star Trek. Can you believe
Really?
that?
I would not have thought
Really?
that.
I am the biggest Godzilla. You should see the toys I have at home. I have a little Mothra. I have about 2 or 3 Godzilla toys. And that stuff is expensive too.
Mhm.
I can't afford too many of them. But
Yeah, you got to be picky, or at least selective, right? The ones that are
selective,
worth spending
yes,
money on.
I am very extremely selective. Yes,
Mhm.
but okay. Yep.
All right, so Mark, do you want to bring us home?
Yep, I'll bring us home. I'll end it by saying some of my favorite memories of Dragon Con. 2012, I went for one day and got to meet Stan Lee and got a picture with him, and then he disappeared and whispered in my ear, "Everybody get one." If you know that reference, it's a Spider-Man reference. So that was pretty big for me. Two, the Black Geeks of Dragon Con. I cannot talk enough positivity about that organization and what they've done. No shade to any of the other organizations, but Black Geeks of Dragon Con has had a phenomenal impact on my blurred life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, they deserve as much credit to as everybody who helps make Dragon Con a wonderful place. And my third favorite memory is literally tonight, sitting here on this panel with all of you. This is actually, after doing it, something I would like to carry forward to Dragon Con next year. Hopefully I can get literally this panel and all you on as panelists, and we can do this live at Dragon Con. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get that done. But thank you all for coming on. I have learned so much.
Wait, Marilyn wants to say something.
Go
Real
for it.
quick, yeah, I totally was. We need to talk about this thing about the ribbons, okay, on your badges.
Okay.
And I know we're running out of time now, but yeah, ask me next time, why is there such a cult of ribbons? Why is it all of a
Oh,
sudden it's a thing to attach a ribbon with cute little cartoons or fresh sayings, um,
wait, I want to
on
hear
your
this.
badges.
Yeah, I'm
Can
curious.
you
I
tell
need
us
to
I
hear
now?
maybe
now.
don't know
We can
why,
wait.
huh?
We can
We
wait. I
can
want to
wait.
know now. Yeah.
1 minute, okay, 1 minute. Back in the early days when I was first became a director for on-site registration, Mr. Kramer walked up to me and handed me a ribbon that said director. This was a field promotion. I went, I'm a director? And he said, yeah, because I stepped up to the plate and I started, organizing, getting people registered. Okay, so everybody used to wear these little ribbons, that said director. Uh, and then we had parade ribbons too, they were pink, and we had security ribbons. So basically, different departments had ribbons to identify their purpose or significance of being there. Okay, so some people kind of took the ribbons a little too seriously, and they thought, well, hey, I'm wearing a ribbon. I'm a director. Uh, and so Dragon Con said, okay, that's it. No more ribbons because they wanted everybody to be equal, right? Well,
Mhm.
this became a retaliation for the fact that they had outlawed ribbons. Convention. You go to any other convention. Your first time as a attendee, you get a first time ribbon. Okay. Dragon Con said no more ribbons, but somebody decided, well, they would make these little short ribbons that had little sayings on them. I don't really know what the very first ribbon was, but this was the little short ribbons, and they have people who they call it a beard, right? You keep attaching ribbons on top of ribbons on top of ribbons until you're wrapping them around your body. And I think that the ribbon beards are the cutest thing in the world. It's like a calling card in a way. But I have one. I made up something that just said, "I've always wanted to learn sign language," and I have sign language in the font of ASL, American Sign Language. But other people, the Black Geeks, they have a ribbon. Different departments, different people, but they're friendly, right? They have no significance other than just to be friendly, right?
Yeah, just
Okay.
decoration.
Decoration, right?
And then there's always, I've seen the contest people have had, like, how far will it fall? Like, they'll stand on the second or third floor in a Marriott and drop 30 feet of ribbons. Yeah,
exactly, right. Yeah, it's amazing to watch them unfurl like that. But
I saw a young lady this year had a ribbon cape, like a full-on cape.
I saw
I
her.
saw that
I
too.
think I
want
saw
that.
her.
Yeah.
Yes. Isn't that amazing? I mean, really. But that took a long time. I mean, each one was different too. So, but
It had
anyway,
to be 15 years in the making.
well, yeah. So, but that's the reason why we have the ribbons. There must be another name for them, like social ribbons. I don't know, something.
Yeah, it's gotten so big now that it's just ribbons, and you just know without anybody telling you, that you're gonna stick this on here. You get your first one, and then you see everybody else's, and you just know I'm going to continue to collect ribbons. And then people,
And you feel, yes, they
even
have a
just
cup.
random people have just started making ribbons just on their own.
Yeah, right. There are 2 or 3 companies that will make them up for you. You get like 1,000 for a decent price, and you can give them out to people. And they would have meetings, they have meetups where they would exchange ribbons, So that's a lot of fun too. But I just thought, that's one of the things. I don't know if that's a fond memory, but it's just amazing to see how that has blossomed, into a thing.
I think it's also thematic with Dragon Con as a con. Like, think about the cult of John, where they're like, don't steal the cutout, and they stole the cutout and they made something. And then the carpet, we're throwing the carpet away, and like basically like parents try to do something, and the kids like, no, we're gonna do something different. And so now it's like, okay, no more ribbons because y'all started power tripping. We're not doing that anymore. Oh, really? Right. And now there's ribbons everywhere. So it's
ribbons everywhere. Yes.
Yeah. These counter reactions are awesome, and it makes the whole con better.
Yeah. It's like Yep. So
a bunch of people that never.
The ribbon thing has gotten so big, it's transcended cons, and MomoCon has picked up on the ribbon.
I saw
thing,
that. Yes.
MomoCon is now being a con where you go to and hunt down all these beautiful ribbons. So another thing we gotta thank you for doing that brings me so much unbridled joy and happiness.
Yes. Have you heard of Jordan Con? I'm not a literary person. I didn't read him, but this author. Huh?
The author Robert Jordan.
That's right. Yeah. So there was a Jordan Con, and people were wearing them there, and I thought, so it transcended from one convention to another, So
that's awesome. You have so many stories, so many things to know.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do a second part of this.
Okay. Yeah. We must do that again. Yes.
Absolutely.
Do this again. Yeah.
And so as we wrap up,
I wanted to mention this thing. I didn't want it to be skipped. I don't know if you had noticed it in the messages, but Tanya Woods actually posted a list of the original 9 black nerds at DragonCon.
Uh-oh. Okay. I gotta watch. I gotta go back and see that. Okay.
Marilyn, Mama, Joe Phillips, Lexington Woolcraft, Joe Campbell,
Yeah.
Tony Cade, Karen Jordan, and maybe Don Hillsman and Tanya.
What happened to Mama? She was something else, and nothing bothered her. I mean, she came in, did her makeup and her cosplay, and she was gone. So
Yeah, she was fun.
yeah. Okay.
So there you are. Those are the original 9.
Shout out to the original
The
9.
OG.
Yeah.
So with that said, I would like to dub.
And now it's like what, 9,000 or more attending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would like to dub the original 9, the grandparents of Blerdom. So thank you all for doing that. Because without the 9 of you, the 9,000 of us would still be scattered to the wind, maybe.
Absolutely. Afraid to be ourselves.
Exactly. Oh my God, you have no idea what that means. Like every time I go to DragonCon, it's just like a homecoming.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, this has been probably my favorite thing I've done on my YouTube channel is sit here and talk to the 4 of you all and talk about DragonCon. So thank you all so much. I am going to do this again. But before we go, everybody, where can people find you on the internet if they want to follow you and continue this conversation and continue to learn more about the history of DragonCon?
Okay, well, I'll start off. If you want to find me, I'm at Joyride08 on Instagram and Threads. A Moment of Joy on TikTok. My feed is a combination of political activism and nonsense, so it just depends on the hour. But yeah, come check me out.
Yeah. I'm just on Facebook and Instagram, Sorry?
No, I think it was a background noise. You said you're on Facebook and Instagram, right?
I just do Instagram, Facebook,
What's
you
your
can
handle?
read my my sad story about why I'm in the hospital. I did post that. I wasn't going to at first, but I said, what the heck, because spending a whole week in the hospital is like
It's the pits.
a pisser,
Yes.
But hey, I'm breaking out of here on Thursday, so yeah.
I love it.
Yep. You're gonna have to come and get me. Okay.
Charles?
Sorry, that's me. I was going to follow you on TikTok and it wouldn't shut up fast enough. But you can find me. Everything that I do is on Linktree, linktr.ee/RGOP42 for Rock Out of Podcasting, and because 42 is the answer to life, universe, and everything, baby.
Yay.
RGOP 42. All right. Tony.
All right. I'm old school and I'm easy to contact. Just do info@challengesgames.com or go on your social medias, Challenges Games. We're linked. Atlanta Sci-Fi Fantasy Expo. Everything's linked together. I don't do it all myself. I got other people volunteering and helping. Speaking of which, if anybody wants to, do any activities, for the expo coming up, hit me up. Let me know. Like I said, anybody who helps out, I can guarantee you a free membership to the con. Yeah.
Wait. I thought the memberships were already free. Is that a trick question there?
But you know what, Tony? Yeah, I would be interested in helping out or doing something at the Sci-Fi Expo in the spring. So
yeah,
I'll be
You can do your Soul to Soul panel and do it as a test
I
run.
want to hear about that. That's so cool.
That's what I was thinking. Like, yeah,
That's what a lot of people do. A lot of people will try out their panels at the expo, and then I'll look later on and they'll have the exact same panels at MomoCon and DragonCon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hey, I don't mind being a test round. Not at all.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Soul to soul. I like that.
Yep, that's going to be fun. But for everybody, I am Mark. This has been Blerdcast. Join us next Monday at 8 p.m. for another live episode. Next Monday, November 3rd, we are doing something that I think is interesting. But maybe some of you might find this interesting. If you ever wanted to know how we go to these conventions and get to interview celebrities and have fun, we're going to cover all that in our masterclass on how to do press. So join us next week. But until then, I'll see y'all when I see you.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.